Hello everyone, this is Ken Quigley from Keystroke, and today what we're going to do is we're going to cover how to create a quote with Link2quotes. So the first thing is we've got to go to the Linktivity homepage, click on My Account, which will bring you to this page, and you just add in your credentials and click on Login. So once you've seen here, once you're in, this is your main dashboard screen. You've got all your program options down here because Linktivity is a suite of programs, including Link to Calendar, Link to Events, Link to Forms, Link to List, Link to Mail, Link to Quotes, Link to Shrink, and Link to Sync. Today, we're going to be focusing on Link2quotes, so we're going to click on here. When we click on this, this is always going to display your last filtered screen of your quotes. So the quote list, not the activity dashboard reports or anything else, but your actual quote list. So in this case, you can see that I've got my name selected as the salesperson, and I want to only display the open quotes. Now, if I select filter here, that will toggle close a lot of the extra filter options, but it doesn't remove them. So this will remain my default screen when I go away and come back again. And if I want to change the sort order, I can click on here and I can select what my sort option is. Now in this case, I want it to be from highest value to lowest value. So that's the only sort option I've given. I can add additional sub-sorting options, but in this case, I just want to show them as they are in order of a size and down, okay? So based on the filters that I've got applied, it will show the different KPIs available across the top. So this based on my list, based on open, I've got 13 quotes open. Here's the total value. Here's the weighted probability at 50%. And here is the minimum value, the maximum value, and the average value, okay? Up here, you'll see a progress bar that displays my progress towards my individual quota. So my monthly quota is 20,000. It's showing that it's early in the month, that I'm $14,453.01 towards my quota, and then it's showing that I'm only about $5,500 away from completing it. Okay, so these are the standard KPIs, filters, sorting options of your quote list. So now I want to create a new quote. When I create a new quote, there's 3 ways of doing so, but it all starts with clicking on New. And I can see I can give it a name, but here is my 3 options: create from scratch, use an existing opportunity, or create from template. Create from scratch is pretty self-evident, and that's what we're going to be doing the demo on. But if you've already created the opportunity, then you can select here, and this will display all of the opportunities that you've got, and you can see some are linked to quote and others are not, okay? So I may want to select this one, and then I can create a quote based on that, and it will generate a new quote based on this particular opportunity. A template is basically a quote that you've saved that you use over and over and over again, so that if you prepare the same kind of quote repeatedly, it might save you a lot of time to create a boilerplate of that and that you can use again and again, okay? So now we're going to go back to scratch. We're going to give it a name, and we're going to call this test quote. And I'm going to click on create quote. Now what happens here, okay, is it will display all my open dialog information here to prepare for a quote. So you can see here, it's listed it as published. It's passed forward the quote name I gave it. Here's my preview option. I don't have anything to preview at this point, so I'll get to that later. I may want to enable this option if on a quote by quote basis, I can hide quotes from other salespeople. Now, if I hide a quote from another salespeople, it will not show up to others in the quote list view, okay? But it will be reflected in the reporting, okay? So that's important. If you want to credit for your past sales, or your manager wants to see the results of that, then you can definitely get credit for your sales and your pipeline without necessarily sharing leads that you're not comfortable sharing, okay? So here is the layout. We're going to select the default layout, but we've got different options here. This is covered in a different video, okay? By default, if I'm logged in as myself, I will become the salesperson or the record manager of the opportunity. But if I want to prepare this quote on behalf of someone else, I can select that person and then put prepared by here. Okay. Now, bill to, ship to. Bill to, obviously a quote or an opportunity has to be linked to someone. So what we can do is we can click on look up contacts. I can type in just a last name, and it will show me the available contacts in my database with that name. Now, it's important to understand that when you type in a name, it's not going to auto-complete it or create a search based on every letter you type. That will create a lot of overhead with the API, and your API memory usage will spike up. So what we've done is we've set it in where you have to put in the full search condition and then click on OK. Okay, and then you select from the list results here. Now, if you've been given a business card and you don't have that person in your database, then you can click on create new contact and add them in from scratch here. Okay, and they will be not only added to the quote, but they'll be added to your database. Okay, so select new. I'm going to select Adriel. Okay, now the ship to, you can leave blank by default. Okay, and it will only show the one person's name. But if, for me, I may be talking to several people within the company and I want to put them both in here because the quote will be delivered to both of them. But I may also be working with another reseller's customer, okay, in which case I want to copy them on it. So I can click on this and I can say, let's put this here. Okay, so now I've got two people in the quote, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Now, in this case, I can select the currency. This isn't super relevant to a lot of people, but for us, because we sell in both Canada and the United States, it's useful to select that. Okay, and then sales taxes. This is all set up in these settings, so that's part of a different video. I can just click on here, and there'll be no sales tax column over here automatically. Shipping fee, we sell software, so there's typically not a shipping fee, but this is going to be relevant to whoever's using this, so put in whatever applies. Okay, as I said, status quote is open, salesperson, prepared by, date issued, so this is the create date, which is today. Valid to, we've set it up so that all quotes will close after 30 days. Okay, estimated close date, but you can turn around and say, I'm going to make this to the end of the month. Okay, required deposit, this is a percentage value, so depending on what business you're in, you can put in what's appropriate here. We typically get payment up front, so not a deposit, so we leave this blank. And same thing with deposit due. We leave this blank as well because there isn't, a set date or number of days that people have to pay within because we don't deliver the product until it's paid. But if you're working with limited inventory, then you may want to keep people on a shorter leash and say, once this quote is accepted, you've got to pay the deposit within 5 days, or we're going to sell the products to someone else. Okay, leave this 0 and it won't show up on your quote. Add any value in here and that field with the appropriate value will be displayed in your quote. Okay, now before we get into products, I want to display here the toggle preface. So what this does is this opens up a memo box with full MC editor formatting options here in your toolbar that you can introduce the quote with. Now this may be a standard preamble, based on your services, or you may want to put in specific project conditions, okay? Like we're assuming that your database is healthy, we're assuming that this is an upgrade and not a new database, we're assuming that all your computers are, Windows 10 or higher, whatever applies. This allows you to create this preamble inside of the quote, okay? And really kind of position it or format it much more like a proposal. A lot of people will tell us that, they're in the service business, consulting business, and they don't sell widgets, so it's a lot more of a proposal. This allows them to format it accordingly. Okay, we're not going to get into that for today's demo since you can type in whatever you want or paste. Now, if you paste in a bunch of information here from, say, Word or from the internet, then definitely select it and use the clear formatting, okay? Because otherwise, remember, this is an HTML quote that you're sending out. So if you've got a lot of hidden HTML content here or code in the background, it's going to, display with perhaps unexpected results and maybe not as you're expecting. So this will allow you to select it all, clear it, and then use these options here to format it. So it's much more within your control. But for our purposes, we're going to close this and we're going to get right to preparing and adding values to the quote. So here is our main quote toolbar. So products, upcharge, running total, running subtotal, heading and subheading, text, image, video, attachment, and separator. So a lot of these are pretty self-evident, but the main one that obviously most people are going to be using is product. I'm going to click on product. It's going to open up a field. Now what I can do is I can just type in something like act, and then I can hit this drop-down list, and it will show me all the search results based on the word act. But what I'm finding as I use this more and more is what's far more comfortable is to click this little folder option, which will bring up my product search dialog box. And now I'm going to type in act. And I'm going to show you in a minute why that's useful. So now I've got act. Now let's say I'm quoting several different products, several different similar products. So I'm going to put in, let's say, act premium. And I've got now 5 different options. Why is this useful? Well, I'm going to put in this one. I'm going to select this. Now I can adjust the quantity. I can adjust the unit price. I can put in, if I put in a price here, okay, that overrides it. This will show the like the adjusted price and show the discount, and this will be the total. Okay, right now, okay, I put in the adjusted price. So here is the main price. Watch what happens when I put in 350. Okay, it calculates the discount and it shows it out here. So you can actually have this do the math for you. Okay, and then obviously quantity, or you can type in the override as it is. Okay, now I've got that. Now why, if I select product again, was it handy to use the folders? Well, watch. Click on here and my same search results pop up. So if I want to put in several options that are similar, I can do so. Okay. Now I'm going to adjust all these to be the same quantity. Okay. And now I've got 3 options here. Okay. But I don't want someone to pick more than one because these are really an either or. So watch what I can do. I can click on these little ellipses and I'm going to put in the word act in every one of them. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to put in act here, and clear these, and I'm going to put in act here. Okay, now I've got all 3 options, and I'm going to select this one as the default. Now, why is that useful? Watch what happens when I pick the next one. It deselects the first one. So I've created this as a group, okay, that allows me to present different options to my prospect or customer, and they can choose which one they want. Okay, so this allows them to engage in the quote much more differently. Okay, and now I'm going to add an option that isn't mutually exclusive, and I'm just going to type in orange here for our orange care, and I'm going to select orange care. I'm going to use the same quantity. It calculates out there. I'm going to give them a 10% discount based on quantity, and it automatically calculates it. Okay, so now you'll see here that I've got a different kind of checkbox. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to put this as mark this option as, or mark this item as optional. Doesn't matter what I've got here. Mark this option as this item as optional, and mark this item as selected. Okay, and what this will do is it will present it on the quote in a way that the person can deselect it. So I'm just going to save my work here. And you'll notice here at the save button, there's a little white line showing here's the save disk and here's save and close and here's save and send. Don't click save and close unless you mean it. Otherwise, you'll be searching for your quote to go back and continue editing it. But I've got some products in here and now I want to see what it looks like. Okay, you can see I've got my bill to and ship to here, these two options. Here's my quote date, valid to. Here's my sales tax number, currency selected, and here's all my options. And you can see how people can select any one of these and it will deselect the others. Down here, you can see that I've got my discount so people can see what they're saving, but they may choose to not opt in for that product, okay? And it will change the total accordingly. So now let's go back and I'm just going to delete this initial option just to clean up the quote a little bit. And now what I want to do is I want to add some artwork here just to dress up the quote. So I'm going to click on image and I can either select from my pick list, which is the options you've got for standard quotes or standard link to quotes, or I'm going to select browse images, which is an available option for ours. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see, okay, what is the best option? Okay, here's my image. I'm going to put that up here. So I've got that. Now, let's say I want to dress it up even further and include a video option. I'm going to click on here. Now, videos are only available in pick list. Obviously, you can't upload that. So I'm quoting ACT, so I want to include my ACT commercial video. I'm going to just move that up here. And now I want to add something similar for Orange Care. So I'm going to say, let's go to Orange Care. Actually, you know what? I've already got an image for Orange Care, so I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to add a video. Here's my support plans video. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I may want to separate this so that I've got them in different sections. So if I clicked heading, this will create a black bar heading above the column headers. I don't want that, okay? Because then really you can only use that once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on subheading and I'm going to type in ACT product options and I'm going to move that to the top and I'm going to create a second one. Support options. And I'm going to separate the quote that way. Okay, I'm going to click on save. Okay, and it's telling me that I need to select one of my products because I deleted the one that was selected. So that was a nice little reminder. Okay, so I've got that done. And now let's go to preview. So now you can see I've got this black bar as a section header going across here. I now have two options. Okay, I've got two options and I've got down here, I've got a second option and here's the video and here's my video down here. Okay, you can see my image and you can see the total at the bottom. Now, what I've got here is my deposit conditions, my terms and conditions, which is really important. And here is, I've enabled the option to use my link to calendar link so that people can engage with me and book an appointment if they have any questions. Same thing with the feedback if they want to provide any survey feedback, okay? Scroll down here, they can accept it. They've got all the acceptance conditions. It's tracking their IP address, okay? It's the date, accept, and then put the terms and conditions. Here is the acceptance thing where you're putting in the signed estimates form a legally binding contract, so on and so forth. And then obviously terms and conditions are displayed again right beside the accept quote, okay? Now, if they accept this, this will immediately close the quote, close the corresponding opportunity, and you will get notified. And they will also, if you've set this up, prompt them with the option to pay. They will get immediately an emailed quote saying that it's been accepted, and you'll be able to continue on closing the deal, okay? Now, with this, if we go back here, we click on preview, we can see that each one of these things are hyperlinked. So if I click on this, this will take me to the web page. If I click on this, it'll take me to the appropriate web page for this product. This is not hyperlinked, but this is my video. So this pops up, and I've got product information that immediately starts playing, okay? Same thing with here. Starts playing here, okay? So now I've got all of this professionally presented quote, okay? And I can close, save it again. Now, if I click on save and send, okay, it will then load the quote into an email template, but I'm just gonna show you some final options here. You can copy an existing quote to a new quote. So if you've saved this and you want to send them a similar one or someone else a similar quote, then you can do so here. If this is a quote that you want to use over and over again, you can save it as a template. Save to history, this confuses people because when you send a quote, it does get saved to history. But what you'll find is that sometimes you can, when working with people, there'll be many iterations. They'll say, oh, please take this off, please add this off. And then after maybe going back and forth, they'll say, well, can I just simply, get what you originally quoted me? By saving the history each time, then you're gonna get a snapshot of each and every iteration of the quote, okay? Send a quote, here's schedule a follow-up so that you can write within the quote, schedule a follow-up. Download quote will download the PDF. Download documentation is really for something after a quote is accepted. And this will bring all the entire interaction history, when they accepted it, when they viewed it, what IP, and just shows every single thing relating to the whole acceptance process. Accept quote allows you to accept by proxy. So let's say they give you a verbal, then you can accept this. And if you do so, it will prompt you to either notify them or not notify them. Disable quote allows you to disable quote without deleting it outright. So if you want to maybe go back and open it up later, to resend, you can do so. Also have it reflect on your reporting for lost sales. Delete quote will just wipe it out and it won't be reflected in sales of any kind, okay? Or reports of any kind, I should say. Okay, now I'm gonna click on save and send. And this allows me to immediately see I've got the two people here. I'm copying myself. I can BCC people. I can select from a different template. So I'm quoting premium. So I'm going to select this. I can add things in. I can attach the quote as a PDF, but I don't like to do that all the time because that way people can open up the PDF and I won't know that they viewed it. And then here is upload from my computer or select a PDF from a document or from an online document that I've saved separately. Okay, that's part of another video. Okay, but now what I do when I click on send, it will then send it out. It will provide them the link here, and I will be notified each and every single time they engage or accept the quote. And all of that interaction will then be saved back to Act History. And that's it. So thank you very much. Oh, by the way, one last thing. If you don't like to use this and you like to use Outlook, what you can do is download your email, which is the email, and it will then, when you click on download here, okay, it is going to prepare it, and you can just simply click on open file, and it will load it into your Outlook. If that's how you prefer to send emails, maybe you want to use your standard email signature, whatever the case is, maybe you want to have this for separate tracking. This allows it to go out through your Outlook, okay? And then you could also just go back and send it like this. And that's it. So thank you very much for joining us today. and hope you enjoyed this.